Here's a video reimagining of Jordan Peterson versus the left-wing press this past month.
Oh man, Luigi got it.
You had the forward suggesting he enabled anti-Semitism, you had the New York Times calling him the custodian of the patriarchy, and Peterson just bulldozed over all of them. But one accusation we haven't seen yet is that Jordan Peterson, who has kids, is apparently an incel, or someone who tries but is unable to get a sexual partner. Of course, calling Peterson an incel, besides having no basis in reality, also compares him to the Toronto van attacker. It's an accusation only a fool would make. But don't worry, this professor has got us covered. Let me introduce you to Bloomsburg University of Pennsylvania philosophy professor Wendy Lynn Lee, whose favorite topics of research seem to be feminism and Karl Marx. Weird how those go together so often these days. I reached out to Lee mainly because of a tweet I saw in which she called Jordan Peterson an incel. She deleted the tweet when I came a-knockin', but I'm not sure if she's aware of this capitalist invention called technology, which allows me to take screenshots. So let's take a look. Jordan Peterson, incel misogynist, committed white nationalist. It looks like she tries and fails to link to a database she obsessively updates, where she has apparently chronicled Peterson's decent into rank bigotry. So I'm supposed to take you seriously when you A, don't know what an incel is, and B, can't spell. More on that in a bit. I reached out to Peterson and he said that Lee has decided that it's entirely acceptable to be careless with her words in relationship to me and my putative beliefs. Academics, whose trade in stock is words, should know better. She clearly believes 1, that her ill-advised statements are warranted, which they are not, and 2, that such actions, however ill-advised, are acceptable, ethically and factually. One of the biggest ideological struggles I've had over the past year or so has been deciding whether progressives like Lee smear others out of ignorance or out of malice. I used to think it was just that they were simply stupid, but when peak stupidity comes so often from such highly educated people, you can't help but wonder if it's done out of spite with an end justifies the means mentality. I think Gavin's also beginning to think that way. Peterson, like any reasonable person, had no idea why Wendy branded him a white nationalist and said, "I would counsel those who wish to bring forward such groundless accusations to be duly cautious. Such shots in the dark have a nasty habit of backfiring." They definitely do, often in the form of purity spirals in which you can never be quite progressive enough. But what's hilarious about the left is their utter shock whenever anyone mocks or responds a bit aggressively to their dictates from on high. Like, how dare you get angry with me when I call you a white supremacist Nazi? This professor got a bit of backlash of her own after she posted an upside-down American flag and signs reading, "Biggest shithole in the world is Donald Trump's racist soul," in her office window overlooking Bloomsburg's quad. Wendy also obsessively updates a database of white nationalist sources, which along with Peterson apparently include Gavin McInnes, that's supposed to be an E, not an I in his last name, and Jewish radio host Dennis Prager. There doesn't need to be one of those E's there. And you know, other notorious white nationalists like Jewish writers Ben Shapiro and David Horowitz. While she might not know how to spell it, Wendy's certainly no stranger to hyperbole and utter fabrication. She's even made a special spot for yours truly, who's apparently a hit piece writer. That's pretty neat. I mean, I prefer a tack dog or a propagandist, but I'm honored to be included in such a list of conservative and libertarian luminaries in any capacity. And of course, like a dog with a new toy, Wendy has latched onto the term alt-right, which she applies with just as much tact. It's not just Trump who's alt-right, no, apparently Turning Point USA, whose mission is to educate students about the importance of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government, is also alt-right, as well as college watchdog Campus Reform, Gavin's Proud Boys group, the list goes on. But it seems like the professor has changed her mind about at least one thing, whether willingly or not. A few hours after her saucy response to me, she tweeted an apology for calling Peterson an incel and white nationalist. She mentions a threat to sue for libel. Well, as Peterson said, shots in the dark have a nasty habit of backfiring. For Campus Unmasked, I'm Rob Shimshock. If you like this video and support our mission, please make sure to comment and subscribe. If something happens on your campus and you'd like us to investigate, send us details using the form on campusunmasked.com.